Hello everyone, this is OddJob here. In today's video, I want to talk a little bit about gameplay theory. This is something that is completely made up, it's all speculation, but in order to actually talk about future gameplay theories that I would love to see in the game, we kind of have to build it on top of a foundation in order to talk about really cool elements that we might be able to see in Star Citizen. If you've ever played D&D or any type of role-playing game, you know that any type of really cool gameplay has to rely on some core fundamentals, and everything has to go back to those fundamentals in order to make the whole gameplay very cohesive. This is something that's just really fun to do because Star Citizen is such a huge video game in terms of its scope and size. Being able to speculate on the gameplay of this is just kind of fun and enjoyable as we wait for the game to be completed. So let's go ahead and dive into some gameplay theory. In this video, I want to talk about NPCs, specifically ones that are linked directly to characters, in other words, NPC crew members. And the reason why they're important is because of another core concept, which is the concept of having fully persistent ships, in which case your NPC character would actually exist in the universe all of the time, which means that those NPCs are actually great candidates to be quest givers for other players. And I'm going to go ahead and flush that out. Say for example, you're a captain of the Idris. At a certain point in your gameplay, you're going to have to log out for a lengthier period of time, say a couple of days, at which point your ship is going to be docked for a long period of time. At that point, you don't really want to pay for your NPC crew, so what do? You give them shore leave. In other words, all that money that you've been paying them, this is their chance to actually spend it. Now, when your NPC crew actually wants to go out and spend that money, visit their family, go on vacation, whatever it is, this is a very good time for them to actually generate quests for other players. So what makes this super interesting is that that NPC character is generating quests, but it's actually linked to you as a player. So instead of having NPCs generating quests because the server told it to, now we have something that's a little bit more synergistic. In other words, that NPC actually is linked to this player, but another player is going to be doing a quest for this NPC, and you should be able to see this in their profile, and it makes it very synergistic. So an example of this would be you park your Idris, they go on shore leave. This particular NPC wants to go home to visit his family, so he generates a service beacon quest to get picked up and get delivered to a planet. Another player can pick up that quest, pick up that NPC, but along the way they get attacked by pirates, and then they go on this crazy quest to get out of that situation. And what happens is that we've generated some really meaningful gameplay for this NPC, and this is something that's synergistic because that player can actually retell the story to the player that actually owns the Idris. This is something that I think would be super interesting and largely unexplored. A lot of times when we play video games, especially RPGs, we have NPCs that we interact with and they give us quests, but those quests, once they're done, that NPC becomes really not important. In this particular case, this NPC is actually part of another crew that is actually playing with a player, and then we have other players interacting with that NPC, and that could determine a lot of different things for that NPCs for both sides. Say for example that Idris owner likes parking his Idris at a certain starbase all the time, which means those NPCs generate quests in that area all the time, and say said other player keeps picking up that quest, that builds a relationship with those NPCs, and eventually there might be a chance for that NPCs to decide to swap crews, not because the Idris owner wants to lose that NPC, it's just that by the other player continuing to complete quests for that NPC, that there might be a chance for that NPC to decide to go work with another player instead. I think that that type of gameplay would be super interesting and would kind of make Star Citizen a little bit special and a little bit different from traditional NPC interactions that most players are used to. Now, for that type of gameplay to actually exist, of course there's a lot of mechanics that has to be involved that CIG would have to put in. They have said that they want NPCs to have their own lives, but I'm kind of extending that into something a little bit more different, in which player controlled NPCs can now affect other players, but I feel like it's within the scope of what they want to do. So for my purposes, I'm just laying this out because I think it's super interesting. Anyways, that's all I have. If you have any suggestions, comments, please keep it civil, and I will talk to you in the next video.